Hello and welcome back to Cotton Innovations Limited. At Cotton Innovations Limited we love to share tools and talk to you about the tools that we can use within our day-to-day business and how we can use those tools to help you deploy and improve your project development and your people skills. One of the reasons that projects often fail in a process is not because the planning was wrong. That can often be the case, but not always. A lot of the times it's down to communication. How do we talk to each other? Now, communication is a two-way thing. People often say, well, we just need to communicate more. No, we need to listen to what we're saying and listen to what they're saying. We need to listen to how we are talking and we need to listen to how they are talking. And that's the beauty of this subject, NLP, Neural Linguistic Programming. Neural because it's about the subconscious, it's about the brain. Linguistic because it's a language. And programming because it's about how we do things differently. So we're going to have a very quick overview of Neural Linguistic Programming. There's lots of great material that you may need to go reach out and use further. One of our reference reading materials is Teach Yourself NLP. We'll share the details of that within the video. And essentially there are three key ways that we can communicate. There's an auditory, there's a visual, and there's a kinesthetic. And there's body cues and there's language cues that if we listen and watch hard enough, we can pick them up. So an auditory person, when you talk to an auditory person, the clue is in the eyes. Their eyes will move left and they will move right. They'll scan the horizon. Now you need to be very careful how you interpret this because some people read too much into it. But generally speaking, depends on left hand and right hand. It tends on their personal bias and it also tends on their culture as well. So you've got to be very careful here. But people will look one way when they're recalling an event. Generally speaking, they look to a right-handed person, like myself, would look to the left when I'm recalling an event because I'm comfortable with that. It's called reconstructing, or not quite telling the truth, when you look the opposite direction because you're thinking about what did or did not happen. Now you need to watch the eyes, and the key thing here is not to make a big blanket statement, but it's to ask qualifying questions and see how their eyes respond to those questions. Now those qualifying questions you need to know the answer to so that you can see how they respond. The other thing that they'll do is the way that they talk to you. They will talk in lists. So they will give you a list of information, the age of the boy, the height, the details, the speed that they were traveling. It will be exact figures. They will give you details, like the time of the day. It wasn't morning or afternoon, it was a specific time in the day. When you listen to these people, it's like listening to a recipe of events that have happened. It's very much prescriptive, listed. It's auditory because it sounds like it's coming from a book. Now that's not a bad leadership style, it's not a bad communication style, but you need to understand if you want to talk to one of these people, you have to listen to how they're talking to you and then change your behavior and your language so that you talk in a way that they can listen. Okay, so let's look at the next one, the visual. Now the visual people, again, the clue is in the eyes. This time the eyes will look up and they will look down, or they'll look back at you. They'll look up when they're thinking, and the same rule about left and right still applies when they're recalling or when they're reconstructing something, but they will look up. Why do they look up? Because these are visual people, and Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel with a beautiful piece of artwork. They look at the roof of the Sistine Chapel, they see the picture, and that picture they will then look at you and tell you what they saw. So the clues here are in the eyes, but also in the language. They will use words where they will call a picture, or they'll talk about a film, or they'll talk about a scenery, or they'll talk about an image, or a vista that they have seen. and they'll relate their conversation very much in pictorial language. So that then brings us on, and again, this is not a wrong way to communicate, but again, you need to listen and you need to watch and you need to change your behaviour and your language to reflect them. And then the kinesthetic people, unlike the auditory people and the visual people, they will look down before they look up. But they'll also include a lot of hand language. Now this is where you must be careful. When you talk to Latin or Spanish or that sort of environment, you find these people are very animated with their hands. They're not kinesthetic, that's a cultural thing. So you need to understand that their hand gestures don't give things away. If you're working with the Far East, they're very much upright, they don't use their hands much in communication, but they could still be kinesthetic. But a kinesthetic person looks down because it's like a child building something in clay and then presenting it to you for you to look at. So they build you a model and then present it to you to look at. Again, there's nothing wrong with these people in terms of auditory, visual, kinesthetic, it's just their preferred communication style. And the clue is in how they talk to you. And rather than lists and details, pictures or images or vistas, they're going to be talking to you in terms of energy. They're going to be talking to you in terms of association. They're going to be talking to you in values. So they're very much connected, energy, values, how do we make you feel, are you comfortable with where we are? So very quickly, an auditory person will tell you that the boy was wearing a blue shirt. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There was a raging row in the house about the fact that he would not clean up his room. He ran outside, he jumped onto the family horse, which was 17 hands high, leapt onto the horse, they raced off into the distance, he jumped over a fence, the fence was 6 feet or 2 meters tall, the horse cleared it with at least 18 inches or half a meter to go, and the distance the horse leapt was around about 12 feet. They raced off into the distance and they came back in the afternoon, around about 5 o'clock. The auditory will understand that picture, but the visual and the kinesthetics won't, because the visual and the kinesthetics will be saying, what colour was the hair of the boy? We know he had a blue t-shirt on because you told us that, but did he have blonde hair? Was it long hair? Was it short hair? The horse, what colour was the horse? Was it like a constable painting with beautiful blue skies and big white fluffy clouds? They'll be wanting to know that. The kinesthetic people will be going, well, what was the emotion like? What was the tension like? What did it look like when he leapt on the horse? So each person will talk about the same event, but they'll just use different values, different ways of communicating. Your job as a communicator is to listen and to change your behaviour, change your language, so that they will listen to what you're saying. Now, is this manipulative? Well, it is to a little bit. But you see, we have this thing called groupthink. We like people who are like us. Therefore, if you can be like the person you're talking to, the power of your communication has just gone up. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Please reach out to us and talk to us about NLP. We'd love to work with you more and teach you how to be able to deploy these skills and to develop these skills for working in teams. And our details are at the bottom of the screen. Please reach out to us and we look forward to connecting with you about the opportunity to use these skills with you. Thank you so much. Goodbye now.